perpetrators of war crimes, genocide, and crimes against humanity in the future.
We can't bring back the victims of the Holocaust, but we can keep alive their memory and the cause of justice. That's the best way to serve the past and make sure history never repeats itself.
You can get the Unsolved History program you just saw on home video. From ballistics to bone analysis to geomagnetic imaging, forensic science is now putting history to the test.
For only $21.95 plus shipping and handling.
You can stay on technology's cutting edge. Have this episode of Unsolved History, nearly an hour in length,
delivered on DVD. To order, go to discovery.com or call 1-800-509-5544 because there's no thrill like discovery.
Honey, we're pregnant.
Oh, let's get to work.
Twins.
Didn't see that coming. Morning, baby.
What's so good about it?
Mood swings, perfectly normal. Breast pump. Ow.
There's an accident on the 20, so take the parkway.
Life's better with the Butterfly. Come see all the ways you can get more done at msn.com.
Gleaming engines, polished chrome, a roar like thunder. Whether you love them or hate them, motorcycles command attention.
You ride one so that people will look at you.
Motorcycles have always had an ability to evoke emotion.
A passion between man and machine that fuels an endless quest for adventure.
It's the modern cowboy.
The engine's beneath you, the front wheels ahead of you, and the air and the countryside are rushing by. It really is almost like flying on the ground.
Hold on tight as we take you on a wild ride to count down to the #1 coolest motorcycle of all time. Our experts have ranked the top 7 bikes based on design, beauty, innovation, and technology. Some choices might surprise you, while others will leave you breathless. So brace yourself for the most extraordinary bikes on the planet. Our countdown begins with a motorcycle that captures the spirit of the Wild West. #7 on our list of wonders is the 1948 Indian Chief, a wonder of adventure.
The Indian Chief was no question the quintessential American motorcycle. It's big, it's long, it's got a huge engine, it's got a big saddle, very much like a Western saddle on a horse. It was the ultimate luxury tourer. That is what an American motorcycle is all about.
With its bold red color, massive engine, and sweeping skirted fenders, the Indian Chief became an instant classic, known as the pride of the American road. All 600 pounds of mighty muscle and steel. Peaking at 85 miles an hour, the Chief is less known for its speed than for its powerful presence. The Chief's most unmistakable characteristic sat on its front fender.
You see the front light on the fender in the shape of an Indian Chief, very politically incorrect today, but at the time, very powerful image, an image of the Wild West, an image of the frontiersman, an image of pioneering spirit, all of the things that Indian, of course, wanted their riders to believe that they were.
I was an Indian rider. I wasn't a Harley guy. I didn't have to be a Harley guy. I enjoyed riding Indian because it was different.
David Hansen rode his first Indian motorcycle when he was just out of high school. His passion for Indians inspired him to open his own motorcycle shop in 1972 in Ventura, California, now almost a shrine to an era gone by.
People have heard about Indians their whole life. If they're into motorcycles, they know about Indians. And they come in here and they see so many different ones, and they see all the guys very passionate about the brand, and it infuses passion in them.
The Indian Motorcycle Company was founded in 1901 in Springfield, Massachusetts, the first company to successfully manufacture motorcycles in the United States. One of Indian's best-known bikes was the Scout, the little brother to the Chief. The Indian Chief was conceived in 1922 as a larger version of the Scout. Propelled by its 1200cc V-twin engine, the Chief quickly established itself as the leader of the pack.
You know, not only is it well engineered, it's got a great engine, but it has this marvelous bodywork and this great look about it. And that's really what makes the Chief so famous as an American motorcycle.
By 1953, despite Indian's racing success, the company had hit hard times and was forced to close its doors. The Indian legacy was briefly revived in 1998 when a group of investors and enthusiasts infused new life into the company. But by 2003, financial difficulties once again compelled the company to stop production, and the mighty Indian became a wonder of the past. Indians may have experienced a brief comeback, but Harley never went away. The next motorcycle on our countdown represents the best in Harley-Davidson's long tradition. Our number 6 wonder of motorcycles is the V-Rod, a wonder of rebellion.
V-Rod is, in my view, the most remarkable leap forward for Harley at any time of its history.
With Harley's centennial just around the corner, they wanted to create a bike that would propel the company into the 21st century and capture a younger market. In designing the V-Rod, Harley broke all the rules. They made what many consider to be a truly radical bike, starting with its revolutionary new engine.
All Harleys up until the V-Rod were air-cooled V-twins. The V-Rod is a V-twin, but it's liquid-cooled. It has a lot more modern engineering in it than the air-cooled motor. But the V-Rod is really a break. It's a lot more high performance. It probably makes 50% more power than the air-cooled Harley-Davidson. It has a radiator. No other Harley road bike had a radiator before. So in many ways it is a break with tradition, and the Harley guy is a really traditional guy.
This is a higher revving engine. The power is maxed at 8250. It's a square bore stroke, so it has a little different arrangement relative to the power and when it comes on. So we call it sweet potato, sweet potato, sweet potato. And it is a sweet motorcycle.
With its sleek, modernist beauty, the V-Rod was designed to compete with the very best bikes from Japan and Italy.
It's a very dramatic motorcycle. It has a kind of a dragster feel. It's aggressive looking. The engine is emphasized, and it's a jewel, because that's our philosophy. We don't cover them up. We leave them out open.
When introduced in 2001, the V-Rod was an instant hit. Colin Harley, no relation to the company, heard about the V-Rod from a friend. A Harley rider for years, he immediately called his dealer in Connecticut.
I said, Fritz, this is Colin. I said, I've heard about the V-Rod, and all I can say is, if you want to live a long life, I assume I'll get your first one. And I did. I was stunned at the look of it, the incredible design of the exhaust pipes, which are unlike anything I've ever seen on any motorcycle.
And it was also unlike anything he'd ever heard. Gone was the ear-shattering sound of the old Harley.
You can barely hear it, but it has about 110 horsepower, and this motorcycle will go from a standing start to 60 in 2.9 seconds. About twice as fast as a Ferrari.
sound impressive? Well, not to every hog fan.
Hi, Mom, I promise I'll be good.
The people mostly buying Harleys today like nostalgia. They like the old look. They don't require too much power. 60 horsepower will be just fine.
The V-Rod signals a bold new beginning for Harley. One very different in design, but still pure Harley-Davidson by nature.
As we stay true to our beliefs in what a vehicle should look like, it'll remain a Harley-Davidson.
Some riders buy an image. Others create an image all their own.
This program is brought to you by Pine Sol. The power of Pine Sol, the smell of clean.
Honey, name the 2 dirtiest rooms in your house. Right, the kitchen and the bathroom. Dirt, germs, and nasty smells. Get out the Pine Sol cleaner, girl, for powerful cleaning, disinfecting, and a real clean smell. The power of Pine Sol, the smell of clean.
Couldn't stand looking at the lawn. Sorry.
Need help with lawn care? Ace Hardware has the people and products you need to help keep your lawn looking great. Ace, the helpful place.
It's our biggest Sienna ever. 3 rows, 8 seats, bring the whole team. Or you can have a whole row to yourself. Got a sister? Yeah. Won't even know she's there. DVD? Personal headphones. It's got 60% more cargo space. Wow, it's really huge. And it's got a 230 horsepower V6. What's that? I'm not sure.
The Toyota Sienna. It has everything kids want and everything you need.
Now at Pearl Vision, magnetic eyewear by Innovative is on sale for just $139.95. Choose from the latest styles and go from eyeglasses to prescription sunglasses in a snap.
Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
Hey, you want a 3 Musketeers bar?
Sure. 3 Musketeers. You won't believe how light and fluffy it is. With 45% less fat, feel free to reach for one.
That's not coming down?
3 Musketeers, a lighter way to enjoy chocolate.
The process established in Clause 1
pertaining to Addendum B shall include
the aforementioned dissemination of information
to eligible beneficiaries.
Changing the computation of incurred costs
with at least actuarially equivalent benefits.
If it is not impracticable.
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 Of course, it's very clear. Who wrote this?
The new Medicare prescription drug benefit is worth understanding.
What?
Call AARP for a free brochure that explains it in plain English.
For these rare baboons to survive, the women in charge must go wild. Sunday at 7 on an all-new Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. Animal Planet takes you to East Africa, where these women raise the young, find the food, fight the fight, and lead the way. The Wild Ladies of Baramba on an all-new Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. Sunday at 7, only on Animal Planet.
Bargains, bargains, bargains. Folks, our RV Factory Outlet has the biggest and best bargains on new and used motorhomes. That's why we call it the RV Factory Outlet. Bargains on Fleetwood motorhomes, Holly Rambler, Safari, and Jayco motorhomes, and a huge selection of bargains on used motorhomes as well. It's the season, so now's the time to snatch a bargain from the RV Factory Outlet. Extra cheaper in Cobra Country, and so are bargain, bargain, bargain motorhomes. But that's only at Guarantee's RV Factory Outlet on I-5 in Coburg.
On the Style Network, we do things a little differently. They have a complete stranger pick your new look. We have your sister-in-law, your best friend, and a stylist compete for the job. They get a professional to redo your room. We get your ex. They have a stylist offer suggestions. We have an expert judge and jury give you a fabulous makeover. The Style Network, where life gets a new look.
I'm Finola Hughes. Watch How Do I Look? Right as at 9, only on the Style Network.
Today, body modifications such as piercing and tattoos are more mainstream than ever. But if you think you've seen it all, think again. Meet several individuals who strive for a more animalistic appearance. From Teflon brows to nylon whiskers. Meet the cosmetic surgeons who perform these extreme makeovers. Step into a world where humans and animals merge. Humanimals, Wild Makeovers, tomorrow at 10, only on the Discovery Channel.
town is just getting warmed up. We're 5 bikes away from revealing the #1 wonder on wheels. Our next bike captures the personality of a rider like no other. The #5 wonder of motorcycles is the Chopper, a wonder of individuality.
The Chopper makes a statement, and so it really sets you apart, not just from society, but also from other motorcyclists.
These mean machines originated when bikers started to customize their old Indians and Harleys. The rule of thumb was, if your bike can ride without it, chop it.
The reason they were called choppers is people chopped things off of them. This started in the 1940s, really, when they had what were called bob jobs, or bobbers. And that's because you bob the rear fender, just like you have a bobbed haircut. Well, they bobbed their fenders because there wasn't a lot of speed equipment available. But if you started hacking stuff off of a motorcycle, that made it lighter. If it was lighter, it was faster.
Guys will always try and make their bikes louder, faster, stronger, longer. And eventually, the Chopper evolved into something that was more of a statement of the owner's personality than anything to do with just going fast.
The Chopper remained mostly a biker phenomenon until 1969, when Easy Rider, a film about 2 men in search of America, took the country by storm.
It was, in a way, an iconic film of its time and was seen all around the world. Then people looked at this bike and went, whoa, what on earth is that?
Easy Rider featured Peter Fonda and Dennis Hopper as 2 vagabond spirits from LA who embark on a cross-country trip to New Orleans. The film turned the 2 young actors into stars, but it was their bikes that stole the show. Fonda's Captain America epitomized the essence of a chopper.
Everybody wanted a star-spangled paint job. Everybody wanted to be Captain America, or everybody wanted a flame paint job like Dennis Hopper had on his.
With its huge ape hanger handlebars, long front forks, and glistening chrome framework, the Captain America bike achieved cult status. But it wasn't everybody's favorite.
I actually liked Billy's bike better than the Captain America bike. It was a little more my type. I like the orange color, the little drag bar look. That's probably the bike I would pick.
Eddie Trotta grew up around motorcycles, and as a teenager, was influenced by the chopper movement. Today, he creates his own choppers and runs Thunder Cycles, a successful custom motorcycle business in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
I'm a frustrated artist. I always wanted to be a sculptor, always wanted to create something. With the motorcycles, I know how to make a motorcycle look good, but when it's done, it's just sexy.
Trotta creates about 100 motorcycles a year. Each bike takes up to 3 months to build, from concept to completion. And they don't come cheap. These one-of-a-kind creations can cost you up to $100,000. Thunder Cycles employs more than 30 people, from welders to painters to engineers. Trotta took us on a tour of his shop to see the process up close. Unlike some custom builders, Trotta builds his motorcycles from scratch, starting with the frame.
It all begins here, and I'll kind of show you the way it happens. This is a basic soft-tail motorcycle frame, chopper frame. As you see, it's kind of big between here and here, and that's what would make it a chopper. So as far as weight goes, it's pretty light.
Once the frame is finished, the metalwork is next. The main parts of the bike are all lined up, including the engine, a stock Harley V-twin with 110 horsepower.
Right now we're mounting the tank, mounting the fender, checking like all the drive lines. Like when you the first thing to do when you're setting up a motorcycle is to make sure that the wheel is going to be centered in the middle of the frame and all the motors aligned straight with the transmission and the rear wheel. That's going to determine if the bike goes down the road straight.
But the real real creative work is done in the paint shop, where anything goes and wilder is better. Before the paint is actually applied, delicate sheets of aluminum foil are glued on to create an effect called leafing.
Silver leaf is going to make it kind of look like there was chrome underneath and basically torn away.
Once the leafing is dry, every part of the bike is sprayed separately with several coats of iridescent paint called candy. Once a bike has been welded, painted, and assembled, it's finally time to wire it.
I'm working right now on putting all my brake lines and all my wires through the frame, and getting the motor and tranny all set up and lined up, getting the belt drive on there, and the oil tank and all that stuff. That way, the last thing we got to do is just put our wheels on and the front end, and it'll be ready to go.
Each bike weighs more than 500 pounds and can go up to speeds of 150 miles an hour. Trotta test rides each new bike for the first 200 miles to make sure there are no problems.
They ride great. I mean, we make sure that they're all assembled perfectly, that they're not going to break down. The bike's no good unless you can go out and ride it.
One of these monsters, people notice. For Trotta, all this attention is the ultimate payoff.
Chopper is probably, the baddest motorcycle in the world. And I put my whole heart and soul into every bike, and it's just something I never want to stop doing.
Many traditional, die-hard motorcyclists would love to own a Chopper, but they wouldn't be caught dead on our next wonder.
This phone ringing. Hello?
Hi, Mom.
Oh, where are you? You haven't called this house in 2 days. I'm so worried about
Rose, who is he?
Vegas.
I got married. Yeah, I got married, Mom. I eloped.
But what in the world would make you do something like this?
$139 a week for any compact car at budget. For irresistible prices on irresistible cars, call 1-800-BUDGET-7 or visit budget.com.
Hey, how are you? Hi, ladies. Oh, no. Who is he? What? Oh, come on. You're glowing.
You're in love.
I am not. Does he have a friend? Trust me, there's no guy.
Oh, whatever. Look at that smile.
It's not love. It's new Crest Whitestrips PREMIUM. Clinically proven to take off up to 14 years in just 7 days. For a smile you'll love.
So, how is your love life?
New Crest Whitestrips PREMIUM. Irresistibly white, irresistibly beautiful.
This year, he'll spend 32 hours trimming bushes, 61 hours mowing the lawn, 52 hours watering flowers. But he won't have to refinish his deck for another 4 years. Behr Premium Weatherproofing Wood Sealer and Finish with silicone. 4-year protection against rain, sun, wind, and snow, guaranteed. Behr. Get it right every time.
At Jenny Craig, you've always been able to have your cake and eat it too. And now, best-selling author and executive chef Carrie Neff has created mouth-watering new recipes to complement Jenny's cuisine. With Jenny Craig, you get the perfect mix of delicious menus, activities that fit your lifestyle, and one-on-one support from your Jenny Craig consultant. Together, we can change your life.
It's all part of Jenny Craig's new recipe for healthy living.
Lose 20 pounds for just $20 plus the cost of food. Call 1-800-JENNY20 today.
Trail-rated Jeep Liberty. With its Command Track 4-wheel drive and dynamic suspension system, it'll get you out of the most impossible situations. Trail-rated capability, only in a Jeep 4x4.
I want her back. Will you go to war with me, brother?
Her face launched 1,000 ships.
They're coming for me.
As Sparta waged war on Troy. Next Wednesday, the Discovery Channel rebuilds the legendary events to explore how a masterful trick ended a 10-year siege.
Now you know who you're fighting.
With an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at Troy, the new film from Warner Brothers. Troy Revealed, an unsolved history special, next Wednesday at 8, only on the Discovery Channel.
Only 3 more bikes to go until we reach the most awesome motorcycle of all time. This next bike on our countdown may not look like a rough and tumble ride, but it transformed the motorcycle into an acceptable form of basic transportation. The number 4 wonder of motorcycles is the Honda 50, a wonder of mobility.
It was, in essence, a great object of mobility. It got you places that you needed to go. But a lot of young people in America liked the Honda 50 because it was an easy runabout.
The Honda 50, named for its 50cc single-cylinder engine, was the brainchild of Soichiro Honda, who built motorcycles in post-war Japan as a means of cheap transportation. By the time Honda was ready to tackle the U.S. market, the company was already the largest motorcycle manufacturer in the world. But breaking into America would not be easy.
Motorcyclists in that era were bad guys. They were rough guys, and they had to be rough guys to ride the motorcycles at the time.
Now, if you were Honda and you were trying to break into an American market, you had a terrible task ahead of you to try and break that popular understanding of the motorcyclist as a rebel and an outlaw. And Honda decided to do it with a remarkable little motorcycle, the Honda 50.
In 1959, Americans were introduced to their first Japanese motorcycle, and a new love affair was born.
A Honda is easy to ride. Even your brother-in-law can master it in minutes. And as for economy, a Honda never gulps gas. Just sips it 200 miles to the gallon. You meet the nicest people on a Honda. World's biggest seller.
They had a great advertising campaign. You meet the nicest people on a Honda. I mean, it's classic. And it really flied in the face of these sort of burly guys that were on Harleys and Triumphs. You didn't have to be a biker to ride a Honda.
I can remember when the first Honda 50 showed up in early 1959. And we all looked at it and said, wow, what's this? And if I had any sense back then, I would have opened up a Honda franchise.
Nicknamed the Super Cub, the Honda 50 cost just under $300, less than your average motorcycle and considerably less than a new car. Practically anyone could afford it and ride it.
It was transportation for every man and every woman. A kid could ride it, an older person could ride it, great gas mileage, super reliability. It had electric start, automatic clutch, it had a 3-speed transmission, would allow it to come up a hill, or it would run along on the highway almost 40 miles an hour.
You could go forever on this thing. It seemed that you rarely had to put gas in.
The Cub was the first practical little motorcycle to have electric start.
Bob Loeb remembers riding his first Honda when he was growing up in the small rural town of Williamsport, Pennsylvania.
It really allowed me the freedom which I had never experienced. That little motorcycle allowed me to act like a grown-up, so it was very important in my life. There was 10 kids in my family, and I wanted to get out of the house, and that little bike allowed it.
That little bike impressed Loeb so much that he eventually started his own Honda motorcycle dealership, as well as a museum dedicated to the Honda legacy.
This is a Honda 450 Police Special. This is one which came out to compete against the Harley-Davidsons, the motorcycles that in that era were police bikes, were big motorcycles, 1,000 cc's plus. This is 450 cc. It was meant to compete against the big ones.
Back in the 50s, the big ones like Harley-Davidson didn't seem the least bit threatened by Honda.
Harley riders would not even consider riding a little Honda. It was almost not a motorcycle. It was a motor scooter, it was a motor bike. It was okay for maybe their girlfriends, it was okay for maybe their moms or dads, but it was not a real motorcycle. But they really didn't see them as competition at first, and they were pretty wrong.
More than 35 million Super Cubs have been sold to date, making it the largest selling vehicle in the world, outnumbering both the Model T and the Volkswagen Beetle. No other motorcycle company has come close to the success of Honda. In the beginning, motorcycles were about function, but today, it's all about looks. Our next motorcycle is considered the best-looking bike in the world. Our number 3 wonder of motorcycles is the 1974 Ducati 750 SS, a wonder of beauty.
When you think of the most beautiful car, you think of a Ferrari. When you think of the most beautiful bike, you think of Ducati.
This Italian-made limited edition 750 SS is called the Holy Grail of Ducatidom. With its long, flowing lines and soft green coloring, the 750 has often been compared to a gorgeous woman.
It has sort of a very flowing, voluptuous shape. It's sort of, you know, tight in the waist and then flows out. And so, yeah, it's a very sensual-looking motorcycle.
Just like Honda, Ducati started manufacturing motorcycles after the Second World War to provide cheap, affordable transportation. They started out making mopeds, and by the 50s were creating sophisticated race bikes.
There's something in the Italian spirit that wants to go fast. And eventually Ducati started to go faster and faster and faster and make bigger bikes.
The 750's V-twin engine became one of its defining characteristics.
It had this beautiful V-twin engine, not like a Harley-Davidson V-twin engine that sits like this. The Ducati V-twin engine sits like this and seems to go fast even standing still. And that's a quality that's always been true of Ducati sport bikes.
The power is right where you want it. When you're coming out of corners, you hit the throttle and it digs in. So it's just a very good package for sport bike riding.
In 1974, Ducati made 400 street models of the 750 SS. Today, only half as many exist. San Francisco artist Keith Hale was lucky enough to buy one in 1975. He says it was love at first sight.
When I first set eyes on a Ducati 750 Super Sport, I was just overwhelmed. I wanted it because it was beautiful, it sounded great, and it looked like it would go like hell.
The 750 is so striking, other bikers often stop Hale to admire its beauty.
I've had people come up and tell me, complete strangers, I don't know anything about motorcycles, but that looks like it belongs in the Museum of Modern Art. And of course I agree with them.
But the 750 isn't only beautiful to look at, it's also fast. Peaking at 135 miles an hour. Hale learned to race the bike, making the most of its 65 horsepower engine.
The bike wants to go fast. It's like a thoroughbred horse. But give it gas and it becomes happy and says more. And the more you give it, the more it wants. At some point you reach the balance point of the bike where it's right in the right RPM zone and you can just like relax and be one with the bike.
In 1997, after logging more than 100,000 miles, Hale decided to completely overhaul his bike. When he finished taking it apart piece by piece, he created a series of paintings using the mechanical parts as inspiration.
This is the head, the rear head, and the rear cylinder off of my Ducati 750 Super Sport, and a couple of the valves down here too.
And in a final tribute to his bike, Hale committed the ultimate act of love.
I decided to add a new tattoo a few years ago, And after riding Ducatis for 30 years, the only possible motorcycle I could tattoo on myself was another Ducati.
A Ducati is guaranteed to turn heads, but watching these bikes in action might send you spinning. Closer and closer to our #1 wonder of motorcycles. This next bike on our countdown will take you to the edge and beyond. So brace yourself for our #2 wonder of motorcycles, the dirt bike, a wonder of extremes.
You can ride a dirt bike to the top of Kilimanjaro. You can ride dirt bikes where you can't walk. You can take it to extreme places.
Unlike other motorcycles, this heavy-duty ride is designed to take a real beating. With hundreds of makes and models of dirt bikes, the major manufacturers like Honda, Yamaha, and Kawasaki have a bike to match every terrain you dare tread.
The machines are very, very sophisticated. Often they have little use on the road. They have huge suspensions because they are constantly in the air and landing. They have very powerful, very small engines. And people love, there's about 2 million Americans who love dirt bikes.
Equipped with less than half the horsepower of your average Harley, yet with twice as much suspension, a dirt bike can soar higher and land stronger than a regular motorcycle.
Everything is geared towards off-road. The tires are knobby tires, so they grip the dirt. The suspension is long travel suspension, so you can go over bumps and jumps. Dirt bike general weight's about 225 pounds, 250 pounds. And there's no extra stuff on a dirt bike.
Dirt bikes took off in the 40s and 50s as riders left the road behind to explore the great unknown. Backcountry roads, open fields, rocky hilltops, the sky was the limit. Soon, that adventurous spirit turned competitive.
There were a number of European manufacturers and Harley-Davidson who made dirt bikes. And it got to be popular to race them. And you would have what we used to call scrambles, which has now become motocross.
Today, dirt bike racing is still a thrill and big business. Motocross and its stadium counterpart, Supercross, captivate millions of fans each year.
The Supercross has experienced tremendous success in the last few years. We're basically selling out every single stadium we go into.
Joined Yamaha's racing team at the Paris Raceway in Southern California as they put the pedal to the metal and got down and dirty. Yamaha's Chad Reed is a top motocross racer and the 2003 World Supercross champion.
Motocross to me is my life. I'm 21 now, I've been doing it since I was 4, so it's a real buzz to be able to fly through the air and do jumps and actually get to race against, your younger friends. It's pretty cool.
Reed is part of a 3-man team for Yamaha that competes around the world in motocross and supercross races. This practice track is typical of motocross raceways, where riders compete on open, rugged terrain with obstacles like treacherous jumps and sharp turns.
We have a mocked out track which consists of a lot of corners, jumps, things like that, and it's up to whoever can do the course the fastest and get to the finish line first.
Endurance being a motocross rider is a huge asset. They've been out there, the track is changing, it's getting rougher and rougher as the day goes on.
One of the trickiest parts of the course to navigate is the whoop-de-doo, a series of small, tightly spaced hills.
We can take them, wide open and, go across the top of them, or you can jump, maybe 2 or 3 at a time and most of the time, the fastest way is to you know, get on top of him and try to go, you know, as fast as you can across the top. So it's pretty difficult.
Shad Reed rides a Yamaha YZ450 with a liquid-cooled 4-stroke engine and an incredibly rugged suspension system. The perfect machine to handle these punishing conditions.
We need a lot more suspension than a Harley-Davidson does, and we do jumps and things like that, and you know, this bike is built for jumping. Knowing that you have great suspension underneath you, you know, definitely helps to, you know, boost your confidence when you want to bust out a big jump and know that, you know, the bike's going to handle it.
This kind of aggressive power in a motorcycle, combined with the overwhelming skill of the rider, is even more important in Supercross, where space is tighter and the jumps are more extreme.
One of the draws of Supercross is there's a lot of jumps. And the first guy to start doing tricks was Jeremy McGrath, who, you know, quite rightly the king of Supercross until he just retired. And so the crowd would just go crazy for these tricks. And so somebody went, well, okay, let's just do the tricks.
Now I look back and I go, what was I thinking?
We baited him into it, basically. You know?
Well, see, I was on the board.
The skateboard went.
I went bam. Like, I'm laid flat out.
I mean, it was impressive.
I tried to stand up and I couldn't.
He was like, somebody please get me up.
I can't work. I'm like, who's gonna pay for college now?
And we felt bad too. So bad.
It's a good thing we had the disability insurance.
Disability insurance from Mutual of Omaha.
We're gonna get him back up.
Because life goes on. Begin today.
The legend grows. The new, longer Jeep Wrangler Unlimited, with more legroom, twice the cargo space, and trail-rated capability. Only in a Jeep 4x4.
On now, discover the most cutting-edge machines on 2 wheels on the world premiere of 7 Wonders Motorcycles, only on the Discovery Channel.
What can you say about a seemingly mismatched romance between a hardwired computer geek and a famous supermodel? That it was destiny? That love is blind? How about the fact that the marriage of beauty and brains can sometimes produce remarkable results, like the high-tech profile series of appliances from GE? Quite possibly the smartest and most beautiful we've ever designed. Profile appliances from GE, the perfect marriage of beauty and brains. GE, imagination at work.
It's about creating the world you've always imagined. About effort and reward. Being yourself and making magic. That's what home is. It's the place where you live. And we can help you enjoy it more than you've ever dreamed. Discovery Home Channel. Discovery Home Channel is available 24 hours a day on digital cable and satellite. Call today and ask for Discovery Home Channel.
The Eugene Airport is the 5th largest airport in the Pacific Northwest. It provides our area with first-class commercial air service. Located in the heart of the valley, there's plenty of parking and a bright, spacious terminal that makes flying out of Eugene Airport truly convenient. And now flying has gotten even easier. Delta Connection, carrier SkyWest, announces new service between Salt Lake City and Eugene beginning May 1st. Call your local travel agent or go to delta.com. Make your trip easier. Fly Eugene.
I can't seem to find the book Into the Mist.
What if everyone had the same level of service as Northwest Community Credit Union?
Sorry, we're all out, but we do have the author.
It was a cold, dark night.
1 tall extra hot no foam latte.
The service you wouldn't expect from anyone is now available to everyone at Northwest Community Credit Union, where you're more than welcome.
coming up, scientists examine a unique chimpanzee that has very human qualities on Human Z. Later, determine the truth of a plot to restore Nazi power on Unsolved History.
The Discovery Channel. Entertain your brain. She warned you about eating Pop Rocks with soda. Recipe for disaster. She told you not to play with fire. This Mother's Day, do your mom a favor. Let the Mythbusters do all the things Mom told you not to.
I like breaking things.
Get to the bottom of everyday myths and urban legends as Jamie and Adam put themselves at risk so you don't have to worry dear old Mom.
That's a scary thought.
This Mother's Day, give the gift that shows you care. Watch the Mythbusters Mother's Day Marathon. Sunday starting at 9. Only on the Discovery Channel. Trust us. She'll thank you for it.
Enter freestyle, arguably the most death-defying of all dirt bike sports.
What they can do on a motorcycle is almost beyond comprehension. They get a 250-pound motorcycle up in the air, upside down, they step off of it, they get it right side up and get back on it again. And they can do this time and time again. Evel Knievel has nothing on these guys. But what he did was just back off as far as he could get, pin the throttle, and hit a jump and hope for the best.
Nicknamed the godfather of freestyle, Mike Metzger is a legend in the dirt bike world.
It's just the thrill of being on my motorcycle. It's part of me. It's in my blood.
A former motocross racer, he was turned on to freestyle in 1998. We caught up with Metzger at his home in Menifee, California. Each day, he practiced his stunts in his backyard, fully equipped with 8 50-foot jumps.
Freestyle motocross is basically like going out and doing some sort of floor routine, basically, as our gymnasts do.
The first trick Metzger mastered is called the whip, coming off the jump and throwing your bike sideways. Eventually, Metzger learned more complicated tricks, like the bar hop, where he jumps through the bars and kicks his feet forward. And one trick, called the Superman, literally sends him flying.
You let go and you extend your arms, you're floating off the back of your bike for a quick second, you grab back on, throw it underneath you.
Soaring through the air on his Honda CR250, Metzger makes it look easy. The backflip is one of Metzger's signature tricks.
The power of the engine helps the rotation of the bike spin. The harder you get on the gas, the more your bike's actually going to wheelie off of the lip and sending you into the rotation. Finally, as you peak out in the very center before gravity takes a hold and brings you back down, that's about where you need to be when you see the ground. I love doing backflips, and I eventually want to take the backflip to a bigger level.
Taking his bike to the next level is what Metzger's all about. As our cameras were rolling, for the first time ever, he did a backflip heel clicker. That's right, we said a backflip heel clicker. He throws his legs over the handlebars as the bike is spinning and clicks his heels in front of him.
The feeling of, especially jumping something for the first time, it's always that adrenaline rush, like, you know, okay, I hope I know what I'm doing. I hope I know that I gotta hit this in third gear. Once you land, you're like, okay.
Metzger's CR250 is specially designed to serve his tricks.
It's got the Race Tech suspension done to it. I got the Shorta Chirby's front fender, and we cut the seats a little bit lower for doing seat grabs. And basically, when you jump off the back of your bike, it's just a little bit nicer to hold on to, almost like a skateboard deck.
For Metzger, the hardest part of each stunt is not landing, it's taking off.
Each time you jump off of a lip, you need to make sure that you're setting your bike up in the right balance position. If you don't know those skills, then that's just a way you're going to end up in the hospital.
Metzger's learned this the hard way. He's landed himself in the hospital more than a dozen times.
Broke both both my arms. I've broken my humerus up here in my upper arm. I broke my collarbone. Broken my back 3 times. Crushed vertebrae. I've also broke both my femurs, the biggest bones in your body. I had enough concussions to not remember what I did yesterday.
Is this guy crazy or what? For Metzger, nothing can separate him from his bike.
I couldn't imagine being Mike Metzger without riding my bike,
Motorcycles continue to push the limits of our imagination. But when rubber meets asphalt, this hell on wheels leaves the rest of the competition behind.
Seven Wonders was presented to you by MSN. Life's better with the butterfly. Come see how at msn.com.
Mom, Dad, Kyle said that he took a hold of China.
I got this one.
Now, the Earth's diameter is 8,000 miles.
8,000 miles of digging?
Whoa, he couldn't get through all the magma.
China? No way.
Any holes in China?
Ohio.
Life's better with the butterfly. Come see all the ways you can get more done at msn.com.
Honey, name the 2 dirtiest rooms in your house. Right, the kitchen and the bathroom. Dirt, germs, and nasty smells. Get out the Pine Sol Cleaner, girl, for powerful cleaning, disinfecting, and a real clean smell. The power of Pine Sol, the smell of clean.
Now at Pearl Vision, magnetic eyewear by Innovative is on sale for just $139.95. Choose from the latest styles and go from eyeglasses to prescription sunglasses in a snap.
Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
Tomorrow, meet a man born without arms who leads a normal life and operates his own business on No Arms Needed, A Hero Among Us, only on the Discovery Channel.
It's our biggest Sienna ever. 3 rows, 8 seats, bring the whole team. Or you can have a whole row to yourself. Got a sister? Yeah. Won't even know she's there. DVD? Personal headphones. It's got 60% more cargo space. Wow, it's really huge. Jeeps, and it's got a 230 horsepower V6. What's that? I'm not sure.
The Toyota Sienna. It has everything kids want and everything you need.
I am not a plumber.
I am not a carpenter.
I am not an electrician.
We know you're not. Next time, come see us first. Ace, the helpful place.
Your big dog doesn't want to chew a small bone any more than he wants to play a trombone. In fact, if he could use the telephone, he'd call up and order this jawbone.
It's a really, really big bone, and that's why we call it jawbone.
He is Oliver, a possible human and chimpanzee hybrid, or humanzee. In 1976, his images shocked the world and became an international celebrity, but then faded from the spotlight.
Something is in there, more than an animal.
Now, revisit the Oliver phenomenon and find out what really happened. Use modern DNA profiling to finally solve the 30-year-old mystery, humanzee. Coming up next, only on the Discovery Channel.
50 years ago, a group of heroic students put an end to segregation with Brown versus Board of Education. Their courage forever changed history. Now, 50 years later, Discovery Docs and Camera Planet bring these heroes back.
I believe that one day America will be just what it should be.
Returning to pass the torch to the next generation.
A history unknown is a history repeated.
With all deliberate speed, opening May 14th in select markets. Check your listings.
We've arrived at the moment you've all been waiting for. But if you blink, you might miss it. This bike is the undisputed king of the road, combining advanced aerodynamics with groundbreaking technology. Our #1 wonder of motorcycles is the Suzuki Hayabusa, a wonder of speed.
It has an engine that can get you to almost 200 miles an hour out of the showroom. It has a range and an ability to go around corners that's unparalleled. It is, in one single motorcycle, I suppose, the epitome of high-tech motorcycle engineering.
It had almost a hawk-like appearance. In fact, Hayabusa in Japanese means falcon. There's a certain type of falcon that's real fast. So, good looking and fast, instant hit.
Almost 500 pounds of highly aerodynamic plastic, aluminum, and steel, the Hayabusa can pierce through the air like a speeding bullet. A 1300cc four-stroke liquid-cooled engine easily propels this machine to almost 200 miles an hour, and from 0 to 60 in 2.4 seconds. It's the fastest stock motorcycle on Earth.
The faster a motorcycle goes, the more stable it actually is. The wheels are like big gyroscopes, and so the motorcycle wants to stay up. It does not want to fall over. It's sort of counterintuitive laws of physics, but a motorcycle is very stable at speed, especially the Hayabusa.
In 1998, when Suzuki set out to design the definitive sports bike, engineers faced a far greater challenge than simply adding more horsepower.
It's very easy to build an engine with a lot of horsepower, but to achieve the speeds that they were trying to get, it really took a lot more, and it really took them a lot of time in the wind tunnel in trying to create a bike that was very aerodynamic and with a low coefficient of drag.
To minimize wind resistance, Suzuki designed a special fairing shape that starts at a single protruding point at the headlight and sweeps back and out like the cockpit of a fighter jet.
The fairing is that bodywork which makes it cut through the air more cleanly, as opposed to, you know, if my chest is hitting the air, that's not very aerodynamic.
Equally as important as design, the positioning of the rider's body helps maximize speed.
The motorcycle, unlike some machinery, is actually more aerodynamic with a rider on it, so it even accentuates the importance of a rider making himself aerodynamic on these motorcycles.
At the Willow Springs racetrack in Southern California, Suzuki racer Rad Greaves shows us how he rides the Hayabusa.
The rider basically fills in that void from the windshield to the back seat. So the better you can mold yourself and transition all that gap area, smooth it out with your helmet on the front area of the windshield to your buttocks area to the back tail section, the more smoother and cleaner the air travels across your body.
When the rider sits on it and crouches over into that aerodynamic fast position, it's as if the rider and the bike become as one.
You may be wondering how in the world you stay on something going this fast. Greaves says it's thanks to the perfect synergy of body and design.
Well, the faster you get going, the more your thighs squeeze into the bike, and that's why the gas tank is shaped like it is as well, to hold you on. So it's mostly done with the legs and the thighs, and that's the unique thing about this motorcycle is the contour of the inside of it.
When rocketing at speeds close to 200 miles an hour, each turn can be your last. Cornering on the Hayabusa without crashing is all about timing and balance. Watch how Greaves leans the bike sharply into each turn, scraping the ground with his knee.
The knee is actually your only way of feeling you becoming one with the motorcycle. It is just you and this motorcycle, and you're all one. It's almost like this motorcycle needs you. It has to have you in that knee on the ground in order to capture its full potential in cornering.
For Greaves, the Hayabusa is the world's most exhilarating ride.
When you get going super fast, it's like a whole nother level. The minute you get on that motorcycle and do your first couple laps, your adrenaline is just up for the whole rest of the day. And it's almost a state of euphoria when you're going down a super fast straightaway.
The public had a similar reaction in 1999 when the Hayabusa was unleashed. It looked like it belonged on the racetrack, but for just $10,000, anyone could experience this street-going missile.
The Hayabusa has been a big hit since its introduction. Everybody seems to like it. It's been very well accepted in the marketplace, and we see a really good future for it as well.
With our constant craving to go faster and farther, is the Hayabusa just the beginning, or has it hit its speed limit?
The Hayabusa is an absolutely wonderful machine. It's a technological marvel, and it goes absurdly fast. There is no need for a motorcycle on a public road to go that fast.
Do we need a 300-mile-an-hour street bike? No. Pretty much, I think we've seen the end of the speed wars.
In this speed war, the Hayabusa has yet to be overtaken by another motorcycle. Our #1 wonder of motorcycles remains in a class by itself. Well, that ends our countdown of the 7 most amazing motorcycles of all time. At least until the next two-wheel wonder roars past, pointing the way to the future.
You're always looking for the next thrill. If you ride sport bikes, then when the next greatest sport bike comes out, maybe you want to trade up to that. Dirt bikes, it's the same way. You buy a dirt bike, and then the next year, maybe something comes out with better suspension, a bigger engine, and you want to sample that as well. It's a constant look for the next big thrill.
In January 1976,